Now everybody's going to talk about Ebola. We're going to talk about Ebola, but we're going to get right back to the subject. We really don't know and recognize our position here in the United States of America as possibly the most important socio-political position on the planet, with affecting, assisting, and connecting with our brothers and sisters in other parts of the planet to change our conditions. We don't need guns to do it either. All we need is sharp pens and sharp minds. But we're so used to hearing the doo-doo conversation that makes no sense. As soon as somebody starts saying something that makes sense, we kind of, we're like a deer caught in the headlights. What do we do now? Act! Act. Start out with educating yourself and then move forward. So, see if I can switch this up. All right, we got that on. But you see, I'm only showing this because we have to rent this facility for $3,000 for 2 days and pay these folks $17,000. So we'll ask you about the tickets on the 29th, all that much. Because y'all say y'all want to be a nation. That's right. That's right. Go sell your iPhone. For the sake of your state. All right? Go pawn your Gucci bag. Do something. Get rid of your PS4. You're grown anyway. What you doing playing video games? Brother, playing video games now. You spent $500 on your Xbox 360. And you up there playing Call of Duty. We're trying to call you to the real duty. Right? So, I see you come back in. I see you, please raise your hand, brother, to the PowerPoint in a minute. Let's just touch on this thing, this Ebola, so we can try to make some sense. Yes, sir.
In regards to the pricing, I know it's 50, 75, and 100.
Yep, $50 is for August 30th and 31st for individuals, 75 is for couples, 100 is for your family, if it's you, your wife, your children, grandparents, or whatever. That covers everybody. Last year it was free, so this year, we have to pay for these facilities, we got to do things, so we're going to charge those fees. But you can make sure that you talk to him. I'm going to come back to that before we leave and pull the website up, just in case you want to get it at another time. You can go to the website and purchase. I'll show you the links as well. Okay? All right, so Ebola. I'm not going to spend a long time with this, but I just want to focus on it to show you these conversations at this point. We should be able to mute them. Now, allegedly, starting back in early 2014, there were outbreaks of this virus in West Africa. Sierra Leone, Guinea, a few other places. And then ultimately 2 missionary workers allegedly got it, and they shipped them or flew them back in a controlled airplane space back to Atlanta to see what's going on with this Ebola, because now it's supposed to be an international issue. All right? It's supposed to be an international issue. So now you have 2 people at the CDC in Atlanta being tested to extract to see what form of Ebola that they have, which they've already said the outbreaks are based on 4 basic types. And the strand that you look, if you study, do any research, is called, well, there's 4 different ones, but this is the family of the virus. It's a virus. The Zaire family of Ebola virus. You can do a Wikipedia search, you can do outbreak studies, you can get the original papers that were written, they'll tell you this is the main strand of the virus. So this is 2014. What I need you to understand is that since 2009, the U.S. has had a patent on that strand. Patent. Patent meaning if you patent some invention, you're the one that made it, no one else can create it, recreate it, and if they're going to have use for it and it's being manufactured, they have to contract with you to get it. So go look up the word patent so you understand what a patent is. Now why do does the medical industry patent viruses? They patent viruses to get money out of you. Because if they patent the virus, and the virus is a problem in society, they can clone it and create a vaccine. Got it? And the vaccine makes GlaxoSmithKline, Beecham, and the other, Merck and others, very wealthy. Because they contract with the government to have these things done. So they have patents on viruses that they clone and they patent and they create. So Ebola, from inception, which I'm going to show you, I'm showing you the link for it, CA274152381, and those are all the application numbers. Look at the inventors of Ebola. Jonathan S. Towner. These are the people who invented it. So, what are we having a conversation about? Now, going further on the invention of viruses, besides the economic aspects of it. Biological warfare has been a part of European society all the way back to the Middle Ages. All right? That needs to be understood. But bringing us into the modern time, biological warfare is another way to control population growth, to wipe out populations if you want to wipe them out, all right? And it's also a way to induce psychological submission. Because the thought is, if I can force you into the ideology that this is dangerous, then I can do like Obama did 3 days ago and sign an executive order that you can be detained if you have this or any signs of respiratory illness. Now, as of 3 days ago, if you have any signs of respiratory illness, you can be quarantined. Damn. You got it? Quarantine. There's several quarantine stations. There's one in New York, there's one in Philadelphia, there's one in Atlanta. There's several quarantine stations. So look up the Obama executive order that says that you can be detained. This is important.
More than important.
Now, you export the people, import the people in who allegedly have it through an airport. Right? Then you say you can be quarantined and already have the quarantine set up. Then you have the patent number on the virus, which we know you made it. So now you get your fake president to sign an executive order. What are you doing? The same thing you've been doing. Deceiving people. But what is the ultimate objective? The ultimate objective is you're about to get Ebola vaccination. That's the objective. Because now, if it's a world health issue, the Ebola vaccination will be ready for you by next year. It'll be ready. Now, you don't know what's in it. You're just taking a needle. You don't know what's in it. Your children go to school, they got to get Ebola vaccination. It's up, the law is already down. You can go look this up. I'm not making this up. It's already set. It's already set. So now, how important does indigenous institutions do they become when you want to evade these traps?
Extremely.
At a time where our people are standing up like never before. I told you a few weeks ago that there are 15 Caribbean nations suing Great Britain for reparations. Never happened before. All of a sudden, this mass World Health Organization disaster now. All of a sudden. Out of nowhere. Ebola, what you had on the book, they patented this in 2007. Then repatented in 2009. So let's look at the said virus itself. The virus causes fever and hemorrhaging, right, in the body, where the body basically breaks down back into blood. It has pneumonia-type symptoms. Listen, if you're on the diet that we prescribe for you, you can't catch it. I'm going to break this down right now. A virus is nothing but a protein. That's it. So you say you need protein, right? Every time you use the word protein, you're talking about a virus. All right, so when you read this patent, without getting into language that's too technical for people, you'll see all proteins in the body like to connect to these things that are called peptides, polypeptides, etc. Protein is protein because it's made of amino acids. Real simple. Amino acids are amino acids because they have an amine group, which means they are nitrogen-based molecules. Take you to class, real simple. So you got a nitrogen-based molecule that makes up protein that connects to peptides. This is how you form antibodies in your body. The entity that forms the antibody is the peptide, because the peptides are from the brain. They're hormones. And they have the intelligence to say, this thing right here is not natural. I'm going to make an antibody for it and keep it attached to me so I can remember that it's not supposed to be there. So when you go to health class, you learn about the essential and non-essential amino acids. And when you do that, you have never had a conversation about the biology of African people. Because amino acids are toxic to our body, which is why we're sick right now. By adjustment factors, planetary problems, and something called the nitrogen fixation cycle, we have created a situation where these carboxylic acids, which make up the peptides, now have to bind to proteins to kind of keep an eye on them so that we don't get too many in our body. And when we get excess protein, that's the sign of sickness. All right. So what scientists have figured out is, wow, these little guys right here that can bind to peptides, we can bind them to peptides and make them break up the peptides and the carboxylic acids. We can break them up, which they're breaking up your carbon, which is the basis of your melanin. So all viruses on the planet attack melanin, or the constructs that make up melanin. You understand that? Because the only thing that makes you healthy on this planet, if you're a human, is melanin. If you don't have it, you're not healthy and you're sick. That's it. That's how easy this is. It's A plus B equals C. All right, so what else are the carboxylic acids important for? They're in the fruit that allow for your cells to burn energy. If you eat a chicken cheesesteak, your cells don't burn any aspect of the chicken. It can't. It doesn't want to. It's not fuel. It is trash and viral. You give a baby milk or meat, it throws it up. As soon as the baby is born, you can give it fruit pulp and it will not throw it up. That's the only thing you can take besides the mother's milk without throwing it up. Fruit. Showing you what the body can take in and what is antigenic, which means viral to it. Got it? So what I'm trying to show you is that all of these viruses that come, Ebola, they are made of the same substances with variances, and their job is to break up the hormonal structure of the body and the body's ability to communicate with itself. It's also to break up the ability of the cells to burn energy. And the last thing that they do is scatter the trace minerals so you can't build structure. All of them do the same thing. So, if you're on our class A, basically raw food diet, that's actually, I'll give you 80% raw, you can't get any disease. What disease can you get? You can't get sick. You have too much carbon, which means too much energy, which means too much force in your body. All right? You have too much energy in your body. Now, the diet that you eat right now, rice, beans, chicken, pasta, fish, the pasta, all of this, it makes you toxic and it makes you psychologically unstable. Yeah, go on, just keep on. All right? It makes you psychologically unstable. And it makes you prone to disease. Every year you get your little flus and all the other stuff that you get. And when Ebola comes, it'll attach to your receptors in your cells real easy and take you out here. But everybody doesn't die from Ebola. Now, we have to look at it and get more studies in Africa, but I guarantee you it's the people in the rural populations who are not dying from Ebola in Africa, because their diet is primarily vegetation from around that is untampered with fertilizers and other things. It's the people in the cities that's dying, who eating the synthetic food. And the same thing is going to happen here. So our point with the Ebola, with introductory information, is that it's not an issue for people who eat right. And nutrition is a great part of the issue of protecting yourself against these things, besides the general body hygiene, where you're not putting the chemicals on your body that induce acidity in the tissues, you know, deodorant, female products that induce other problems. All right? But just ask yourself the question, why all of a sudden the outbreak? When it's a patent for this. Now let's go down. Let's go down. Let me show you so you can get it. And then we can. All right, this is some of the work that we've done in the past. Now let me break something down to you so you can understand the differences between anatomy. On the left is you. Your primary food is from sunlight, air, water, and carbohydrates.
You're breaking it down to you, Playboy.
That's your fuel for your body. For the indigenous peoples of the planet.
I told you I'll be in breatharian right there.
The hybrids are most influenced by lunar frequencies, anaerobic, nitrogen, ammonia, and amine-based products. All right? So U.S. Health Agency holds patent on Ebola. So this is a copy of what I just showed, but basically human Ebola virus species and compositions and methods thereof. Compositions and methods including and related to Ebola, whatever the long word is. Compositions are provided that are operable as mutagens to elicit an immune response and protection from Ebola challenge in a subject such as a primate. Inventive methods are directed to detection and treatment of Ebola infection. Here's your boy. On Thursday, Barack Obama signed an executive order that allows for apprehension, detention, or conditional release of individuals with certain severe acute respiratory diseases, which is what Ebola affects first. It affects your lungs first. Not including influenza. The executive order modifies one signed in 2003 by George Bush. He goes on, severe acute respiratory syndrome, which are diseases that are associated with fever and signs and symptoms of pneumonia. So they tell you they're not going to quarantine you for influenza, all right, which is a similar disease, but they're going to quarantine you for severe acute respiratory syndromes, which is what Ebola is. It can be. All right. So the positive statement says the invention. Everybody knows what the invention is, right? Put this word down. I didn't write this up. They wrote this down. Put the word down. Invent. What does the word invent mean? Create. All right. Provides the isolated human Ebola viruses, denoted as Ebola, deposited with the Centers for Disease Control. So the CDC is bringing the people to them with Ebola, and they already got it inside of their system. So what are they actually doing? Those two white people, you don't even know who they are. They could be some fake CIA agents or something. It could be somebody's grandma picture. We already seen the stuff where they had the shootings, where they had multiple people who had multiple shootings, making this stuff up as they go. They're having a good time with it. All right? So let me show you two other things out of this. So the family, Filoviridae, consists of two genera, Marburg virus and Ebola virus, which have likely evolved from a common ancestor. Genesis Ebola virus includes 4 species, Zaire, Sudan, Reston, and Cote d'Ivoire. Ebola viruses, which have, with the exception of Reston and Cote d'Ivoire, Ebola virus have been associated with large hemorrhagic fever outbreaks in Africa with high case of fatality, 53 to 90%. All right? So I wanted you to see the 4 categories: the Zaire, Sudan, Western, and Cote d'Ivoire. That's in the patent, right? Let's go and see if we can pull up anything about the Ebola outbreak. Let's see. Let's see if they have anything. I guarantee you, the Zaire link is going to be linked to the Ebola outbreak in 2014. Well, that patent is from 2009. Games. We're only highlighting the fact, let's see, pull it up. Anything on it? We're only highlighting the fact. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up. We're only highlighting this fact. This is not high science. We're only highlighting to show you the game that they play on people. That's it. These are just games. These people take your tax dollars, which we're trying to tell you to get exemptions from, and they use your resources to create all kinds of games on the planet. And it's fun to them. What else do they have to do? Barack's going to get up, and the rest of the folks are going to get up, and you think that they're like you, they're concerned with people. That's what you believe. That's why you voted for Barack Obama. You think he's concerned about people. But he allied with NATO to tell a lie on Libya so he could send Scud missiles in on women and children. But he's for the people. They just gave Israel $225 million just on a check the other day to add more technology to their Iron Dome so they can kill more Palestinian women and children, but he's for the people. They gave over $1 billion for one place, that Iron Dome, for technology. $1 billion. But they won't give you one dime. And the brother's saying they pepper spraying children and slamming old women on them. They're over here having a good old time. This is nothing but the same thing. This is a plantation. So we're on the plantation, looking at the plantation. Now, they done made niggas fund the plantation. Under the guise that they free. Because they go to Madison Square Garden or go to the club or do whatever they want to do. Alright? So let's see. Let's see if this says anything about the Zaire link. Right there, the strain of the virus affecting the people in the current outbreak is a member of the what lineage? Yeah. So y'all had the patent already. What y'all doing bringing the people here? Y'all got it already? It's already here. They want to vaccinate you. Now you don't know. Let me break something down to you going further. The level of nanotechnology at this point will allow for you, if you keep taking these vaccines, you don't know what's going to go inside your body. See, white folks got a lot of time to study. They can do a lot of things inside of your body. Make you do a lot of things. So who's going to sign up for the vaccination? You're going to see it, I guarantee. And now, check it out. We're trying to show you how to get together to build your resources, right? So that you will have the time and the resource so you don't have to send your children off to school. You see what I'm saying? That's what you call a plan. Because if your children have to go to school, they're going to get the vaccines. So you see how one thing connects to another? It's a simple point of contention that we're making. We're working hard in the wrong direction. Working hard in the wrong direction. How many people ever had a vaccine before? Have ever had a vaccine? Yeah. Okay, we got stuck. Alright? So they sit us down and put needles in us to tell us that this is how you're going to stay healthy. I never seen any animals with Ebola. How come they can't catch it? They don't take vaccines. The only animal that's going to get the Ebola is a monkey, which is not even a normal animal on this planet. They don't even belong here. Give me another animal that's going to get Ebola besides a monkey. And a monkey is nothing but a devolved white man. That's it. So they're cousins. All right, so the monkeys don't even belong on this planet. You're not going to find animals having these problems. The animals are out eating plants. Or eating the animals that eat plants. And they ain't cooking them either. All right, so y'all get it, right? Y'all get this. We're poisoning ourselves. We're poisoning ourselves, brothers and sisters. We are poisoning ourselves. It's not our fault. We were taught that we had to eat the standard American diet in order to get our nutrition. We're trying to get our protein. We're doing the P90X workout. We're doing all this crazy stuff. And what we don't understand is it's not working. You're still getting diabetes. You're still getting fibroids. You're still getting all these things. You're still dying of something. As if it's natural. All right? With all kind of disorders and pills inside of you. Or then you got the supplements. Right? I got to get my vitamins and my iron. You buying it from GNC. Or you buying it from your local herbalist. All right? You got to look at these things. We have to study the human body if we want to stay here successfully. That should be our first study. And then all of our studies should come from that. Okay? So, all the information that we get to break down this and to be able to understand it comes from our certification that we run with the Aboriginal Medical Association and the Honor Ministry of Health. We have our own doctor certification program where we teach our people the things that they need to know so that they can stay healthy. You're not going to stay healthy on the standard American diet. You're not going to stay healthy on the vegan diet. It just turns you into a starchitarian. All you do is eat starch, tofu, vegan burgers, vegan pizza. They got vegan pig.
Soy, cow, beans.
They got vegan pig, brother. They do. You go to some of these Chinese restaurants, they got vegan pig. Hey, listen, they got vegan everything. They take that little soybean and they turn it into everything. And you put that inside your body, we know what's wrong with you. The men growing breasts and the women growing hair. And they shave it. Alright? Well, all kind of other things are going on. The cycle is all messed up. You bleeding excessively. You see what I'm saying? Instead of not bleeding excessively. So we need to understand that this food is a way to carry out warfare on people. That's all. Y'all got it? Hopefully I made that point clear. Food is a way to carry out warfare on people. Our people are not naturally meat eaters. You're not supposed to be eating flesh. If you did, you have the teeth and the stomachs to eat it. You got one intestinal tract that can stretch around this room a few times. It is not made for eating flesh. You do not digest one atom of that flesh. It stays inside of your stomach. And everybody gets to run out of the house when you use the bathroom when you eat. Because it's fermenting inside of you. And fermenting is a sign of disease. Go 7 days on fruit. You're not going to smell nothing. It's not there. And you can have all the theories on diet that you want. Until you exercise it and prove it, it doesn't mean nothing. Oh, I just read Dr. Oz gave us the new diet. They got a new diet coming out every 3 months. This is how you're going to burn the fat. This is how you're going to... It doesn't work. Nature is consistent, right? Nature is consistent. And there are all laws in the universe besides the ones that you get for writing tickets or getting tickets. All right? We think about law, we think about what the judge, the police officer, the prosecutor write, right? Instead of what was written in the fabric of the universe that you are subject to every day. That's how we're supposed to be living if we want peace and success. Right? And we can't get that following after what Europeans have taught us because we obviously see that it's not working. Anybody think it's working?
No.
I'm about to ask you to leave. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to ask you to leave if you like white people. You can stay here. We need to teach you. Alright, so everybody get it on this Ebola. I'm going to do something more extensive on this. I didn't go through all my points, but I just wanted to get you so you can get a schematic, so you can see what's going on. Well, he's just stupid. Here, sign here. You're the authorized representative for these niggas. Just sign here. Yeah, he's your authorized representative. You know what that means, right? He speaks for you. when he signs the executive order, it applies to you. He's your president. You love to see him and his wife up there. Oh, they look good. No, they don't. They look terrible. Because they misrepresenting us, right? They could look good. They in there bombing people. Glass of tea. Killing some people, Scud missiles. Take a trip to Spain. Everybody that look like you ain't for you. Right? So, yeah, absolutely. So we get this, right? The pharmaceutical industry is going to make money. They're making race-specific organisms as far as diseases that attack melanin. They're signing these executive orders. This is a patented virus that already was in existence before this whole outbreak. All right? They tried this with the H1N1 a few years ago. That kind of sputtered because nobody went for it. Now they're galvanizing it again. Y'all don't get it? This is like a bad soap opera. You know what I mean? 3 years, 4 years ago, they were trying the same thing with H1N1. Same influenza type virus, right? An oxygenated body can't get sick. Right? So you got to learn these things and you can help yourself. All right, so we're pretty much done. I'm going to come back to the summit stuff to kind of summarize. Now, let's pull the website up, just in case people want to be able to connect with us. Yeah, I'm about to talk about the summit. Go ahead,
two different things. I noticed you mentioned about the carbonic acid piece. Relative, a lot of times when you're looking at health things, they'll talk about how it has different type of amino acids and things of that nature. How does that play with the carbonic acid piece? And then the second question, I'm just throw both of them at the same time. There's a new company coming out of Asia trying to really recycle the reishi mushroom, and it's called Linji, and they're trying to like really do a real strong power play over here within the African American community to really get us to start taking this on a daily basis. And I wanted to find out what your but what does that do for our body?
Oh yeah, well it's a fungus. Mushrooms are heterotrophic organisms. They don't have roots. They don't have fruit. They don't have vegetation. They don't have water. They're nitrogen fixators. The fluids that they do have in them are ammonium based. So they're completely adverse. Now the high and the little buzzes that people get from the stuff is the high levels of nitrogen, which is high levels of fermentation, which you having these experiences or whatever you think you're having. Yeah. Yeah, John mushrooms cure diabetes. So the mushrooms, I mean, folk are coming over here, they look at our folk, they know they can sell us anything. On the carboxylic acid and the amino acid. Simple issue here. Let's just take it simple. You have carbon and you have nitrogen, right? Carbon is the most abundant covalent mineral element in existence. Covalent means it has the power to share itself and bind to all the other mineral complexes. Got it? Nitrogen is toxic and poison. All right? It's used in stuff like dynamite, all right, to blow stuff up. When you are looking at carbon in the body, carbon has the ability to make more complex structures. All right? So you think about the ability to make something like you that can stand up, talk, it's electrical, it's wireless. All right? You know what I mean? You're a very complex organism. Without carbon, you lose your complexity, which is your intelligence. Carbon is also necessary for all electrical operations to take place. All right? Carbon and binding to copper and other minerals allows for electricity to be present. No carbon present, or low levels of carbon, lower levels of electricity. Nitrogen, on the other hand, is an amine builder. Now, when we compare it to this one, and this one, if this is unnatural, Brother Ali, how did it get here? Right? Why is it here? And why we do have amines as a part of our structure? Right? It's because we don't have the full original biology that we used to have, which were much stronger. The hue was much deeper, all right, and illuminant. Our structures now have been tampered with a little bit. We still have the basis, which is the carbon melanazone basis, but they've been tampered with. And when I suggest this, because this is a long discussion. I suggest if you never got the book Star Prophecy, you get it. Get the book Star Prophecy, because in the chapters at the end, I go through the origin of all these particular things. The amino acids, you get into essential and non-essential, right? The non-essential is allegedly what your body already has. The essential are what you have to get from nutrition. So you can't get certain amino acids that are already a part of the body, allegedly. You have to get them from food bases. And when you go to the food bases where most of these things come from, they start telling you to eat cheese and these other things. It says you have to get these from these particular places. That is talking about somebody else's body. That's not talking about your body. The proof in the pudding is I can take somebody indigenous, and this is already a part of our book, Aboriginal Black Biology, and give them nothing but sunlight and water, and they can survive forever with no food. Well, allegedly no food. But the sun makes food inside of your body, or it catalyzes energetic cycles. So what I'm saying is that the whole essential and non-essential stuff is fake. The body only needs light, air, and water to survive. That's it. If you wanted to be a breatharian, you could be. If you could master that. You could be. Seriously. Your body has to be in a different environment, in much better shape around trees and other things, but you can do that. But you're not going to take Europeans to any place and get them to be breatharian anything, because they're anti-solar, anaerobic, and their bodies are made primarily of ammonia fluids as opposed to water. So they would emaciate down and just die, shrivel up into nothingness. All right? But I'm using that comparison to show you that the carboxylic acids, the carbon, is already in your body. When you eat fruit, you're just adding in more fuel. Because the fuel that's inside of the fruit is basically downgraded sunlight with oxygen attached to it. Or dense. Alright? That's what the CHO is. Alright? It's just carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in some form. So these amines are nitrogenous-based substances that ferment inside the body. Now, when you get into higher levels of science, you start getting into the shape of the carboxylic acids, and they are pyrimidine, other dodecahedron type shapes, which means they have the ability to store electrical charge and hold it, as opposed to these dilapidated structures over here that have less sacred geometry, therefore they don't hold the magnetic and electrical fields, you know, that these do. All right? So this is a long conversation to answer that question. But essentially, we're carbon-based bodies, and we need carbon-based substances as fuel for our body. Fruit being number one. Yes? Excuse me for not coming over here.
That's okay. When you were speaking about them having fun, you said they're having fun with experimenting with us.
Some people, I don't mean everybody just having a party.
No, I'm saying like you said with the government and everybody. Like when you said they was having fun. You know the recent movie that just came out, The Purge? Is that me? The Purge?
The Purge! Yeah. I didn't see that yet.
Yeah. Does that have anything? Because that movie spooked me out to the point where I was moved. Is that?
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it.
Because we said the experiment is like the white people experiment on the black people. You know, it's like, all right, put them here. I don't want to tell you so you can see it.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Most of the movies do. The directors who are writing these movies, they're, you know, white. Exactly. White tapping into something inside of the public. You know, you got the movie out now with the white girl who can...
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy. They named her after the African... Come on. It's getting really bad. There are two Lucys in anthropological history. One is in Africa and one is in Brazil. And they're both the oldest biological forms on the planet. So they took this white girl and named her Lucy and made her mega powerful, accessing almost 100% of her brain power, and now she can control the forces of nature.
Most definitely, most definitely. I'm gonna try to hit you back.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but
It's interesting, she turned black at the end.
she turned black at the end?
Yeah.
Wow.
Real good.
I'm doing a lot of vegetables now, and a lot of vegetables and fruit, but I'm just thinking, is that because I'm tasting something like a pesticide in some of the stores, some of the vegetables things I go to, and I juice the vegetables and it tastes like pesticides.
Yeah, you need to, well, pesticides, yeah, you can wash them, the thick-skinned ones, but you want to try to go to markets that you can buy organic, because organic guarantees that the fertilizers aren't synthetic.
Yeah, supermarket for indigenous people do have a supermarket where we go buy their stuff.
We don't have a supermarket.
So why we for people and land something new?
Well, we have to do more. I mean, I'm not just, I mean, if we want,
not just you yourself,
no, I'm talking about us and me. We're like babies trying to get up and start crawling and walking. So we don't have a lot of indigenous markets because we don't have a lot of investment in indigenous structures. And a part of it is convincing people that's the right thing to do and educating folks so that they can have more interest in those particular things.
when you go to the supermarket, a lot of products is a hybrid. They're not truly natural. They're hybrids. Me, I'm vicious as a kid. I know I'm very familiar with food. When you go to those places, they call something they call a vegan for all.
Right.
Oh, this is garbage. When you look at the product, the stuff they put in there, straight trash.
Yeah, that's why we're telling her if you can buy organic, it guarantees that the fertilizers haven't been hybridized and it's not synthetic. And then you have to look and make sure the stuff has seeds and other things. Brother Bam, go ahead, guy.
For all those that love to eat fish and who got access to see Russian television, they showing a big documentary on do you know what's in your fillet, and a lot of things about all these fish farms and all the stuff that they put in and certain fish like mau and something that's getting all type of diseases and all the different stuff that's coming from different places, from Vietnam, from Africa and other places. So you need to watch it on Russian television. It's a whole big documentary they showing about all the different fish that you're eating today that's in your markets. And tilapia, you know, many people say that's a man-made type of hybrid fish.
Ben, what's it called?
It's called old fillet on Russian television. They're showing it a lot on the Russian television.
I mean, you talk about the fish, you talk about people, the vegetarians say you only eat fish and the large levels of mercury in it and what the mercury does to the outer lining of the nerves. You high levels of fish, or if you have mercury in your dental amalgam, all right, it can cause problems with the nerves in the body. Children.
Chopping the heads off, you know what the body. Then they sell it like to all the different stores that you go to.
And I remember you mentioning something about food-grade peroxide. Was that the process? I don't recall exactly.
It was if you're doing hydroponics or you're germinating seeds or seeding, you get bicarbonate, liquid sodium bicarbonate, and water.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Sodium bicarbonate. Baking soda?
Yeah, liquid form though. You can get the liquid form online at this website. Essence of Life.
What's it for? I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
EssenceOfLife.com. You can get some liquid sodium bicarbonate, water. There's another herb that's really good to help with it. I forget what his name. It starts with a V.
What's the nature of this? What's the topic here? I didn't hear the
Essence of Life.
No, what's the peroxide for?
She's talking about germinating seeds, and we mentioned sodium bicarbonate as a substance that you can soak the seeds in to germinate.
And did you
Yeah.
That is.
Well, we're talking about how seeds are germinated. And when you geoponically, which is put it inside of earth sometimes, and you're using the fertilizers that you get from Home Depot and other things, it has high ammonium bases inside of that soil. So instead of the seed germinating with sunlight and water, it's germinating through spores breaking through the outer lining of the seed, and this is how the structures in plants get compromised. Plants get cancer too. That's the point. So there's a whole system of how to germinate seeds that farmers deal with and different people deal with at different levels.
Do you have any literature or point me to somewhere where I can get more information on the process of doing this organically without?
Yeah, I do.
The sites I've seen, they're talking about adding nitrogen-based
NPK.
soil.
Yeah, there's a book. I have 2 books on botany that help with using alternatives to nitrogen-based substances. I can't recall them right now, but I do have them at home. And I can email the name of, or even bring them next week if I have to remind you. But it's basically using sunlight and water to germinate the seed as opposed to geoponically germinate. Or if you germinate it geoponically in soil, making sure you use a compost that's all wild plants. Not using your, you know how sometimes when you compost, they tell you that you just throw all your foods that you get from the grocery store into the barrels and bags. Don't use those. You want to use wild plants to compost, and then your carbon and your water content, once you add more water to it, will cause the plants to grow, sprout properly. As opposed to using, the other stuff that we're giving you at these stores. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, going back to those you gotta go shopping for fruit. You're better off going to the mom and pop stores around the area, but check, because when you go buy fruit, there's numbers on it. You have a root barcode. There's usually 5 digits or 4 digits. The 5 digits beginning with the 9 is organic. Those are actually got pits and seeds in them. There's another one with 5 digits that starts with an 8. That's the GMO fruit. And then there's the 4 digit, which is sprayed with the pesticide. So when y'all go into the supermarket and it says organic, look at them numbers on there. If it's got 5 numbers on there and it starts with an 8, it's GMO. The 9 in the front is pits and seeds, fine pits and seeds. But you're definitely better off going to like little mom and pop fruit shops around areas instead of going to Path Market, Fairway, and Stop and Shop, because they'll tell you it's organic. Me and them had a situation one time where the people was telling us that the limes were organic, and at certain times of the year don't have seeds. That's nonsense. If it's organic, it's organic. If it's got seeds in it, it's supposed to have seeds in it no matter what time of year. So just.
All right, so you say how many numbers for the organic? 5 digits, starting with a 9.
If it starts with a 9, it's organic.
It starts with 8, that's GMO, and it's organic, and then the 4 digits, it's already number,
what you said. In New York, you can't forget that there's a lot of local farming too. So the local farming doesn't have any numbers on it. There's no 8s, 9. So if you go to if you go to Union Square, where they have the farmers markets, you could talk to the farmers right there and ask them what they put and get food from Pennsylvania, from Ohio, anything local. And they also have seasonal fruits, because there are organic fruits and vegetables that aren't in season. So there's certain fruits you want to be connected to that's also local, because if it's local, it maintains the same germs that are in this environment. Because we get organic avocados from Mexico, we don't live in Mexico. So it changes dealing with the environment itself. So just keep it in mind. There's what do they call it? Food corps? Not food corps. Food co-ops. The food co-ops, they also work with a lot of the local farming. And there's a lot of local farm markets. Brooklyn has a few. The Bronx has a few. I know 125th by the Metro North has one also. So, I'm not trying to give you a cry, but I'm saying support your local markets, because that's the ones that are growing in your immediate environment. Yeah, the mom and pop shops, because that's Mother Nature at its finest.
Where in the Bronx?
We're in the Bronx. I believe that's East 180th. East 180th by Tremont. There's one right by the 2 train. There's one right there. And also there's searches you can do. You can Google search local farming NYC, New Jersey, PA, and you'll get a whole bunch of things.
Okay, we're done, family. If there's anyone else who wants to go online, you can go to indigenousgovernment.org. All the information is there for the summit, or any other information about the introduction to our society, operations. We're back on the radio, so if you can't come out sometimes for class, you still should come out for class. On Wednesday nights, we start our radio show back up, and Sunday nights. So we're back on the radio, and you can get your family to tune in if they're interested in hearing about law, economics, student loans, all the other stuff that we've been talking about. We can give them some blasts of information so they can come to class and get some assistance from people who can help them and get acclimated learning and doing something. So we thank you for taking your time out tonight. We will be back here next week. Get some tickets for the summit, get participation, don't take the Ebola vaccine, and get home safe.